channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I am giving you my June wrap-up or my Clear Your Shit mini wrap-up. They're the same thing. I did manage to finish every single one of the prompts for Clear Your Shit this month. I expected as much, but I was still pleased with it because I did take about a week and a half off of reading, which does mean that my numbers for this month are much lower than they usually are, but that, again, I took about a week and a half off of reading because I had friends here, so I think that's a good reason to slow down my reading quite a bit. I am going to be filming my book blanket wrap-up, and that should be coming out this month as well, so you will get to see that and see the stark difference between when I read a lot and when I don't read a lot. It's a lot of fun the way that that is represented. So, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the wrap-up. I'm going to give you my stats, and then we'll talk about my top and worst books of the month. So I read a total of 14 books, which for pages read, that was 2,413. For audiobook hours listened, it was 83 hours and 49 minutes, which as days is 3 days, 11 hours and 49 minutes. Average pages per day was 50.8. That's because of the week and a half where I was just still reading books, but slowly. And the average hours per day was 4 hours, 29 minutes, and 21 seconds. My average rating was a 3.4, which isn't the greatest, but it could be worse. I just didn't read a whole lot of, like, incredible books. I did read some incredible books, but they just, most of them were just like, eh. I purchased a total of 1 book and did not write down how much it cost me. Hold on. $13.95. It was The Ring. I know what book it was. $13.95. I purchased that when Phil was here. And then I checked out a total of 5 library books, which saved me a total of which saved me a total of $84.24. Sorry, apparently I didn't write it down, so now I'm having to cross-reference with my sheet on my computer. My bad. Anyway, moving on. I reread a total of 1 book. I listened to 8 audiobooks, read 3 ebooks, and 3 physical books. The intended audiences for those books was 11 adult books and 3 young adult books, and I didn't read any middle grade books this month. And for genres, we have 5 horror, 4 fantasy, 2 sci-fi, 1 thriller, and 2 general nonfiction. So not a whole lot of books, so not a whole lot of stats, but good nonetheless. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the books I liked the least this month, and then we'll talk about the books I liked the most. I like to switch it out. Sometimes I do one first, and sometimes I do the other, whatever. Do you guys have a preference? Let me know which one you prefer to hear about. The first book that I read that I didn't like was Three Body Problem by Sixin Lin. Lou. I can't read my own handwriting. I was bored. I was super bored. And the TV show's better. That's really all I got, is that the TV show is better. I was bored. I didn't find it very interesting. That's it. It was boring. There was also too much happening at the same time, and my brain was like, it's too much. I don't care. I don't care about this. The second one that I didn't like was Ring by Koji Suzuki. I do still think I might read the sequel though, because I love those movies like so much. I really, really enjoy the Ring movies, so I really want to maybe the second book is better. I rated it 3-ish stars, 2.5 stars, because there were some things that I did really enjoy, but it just felt like nothing really happened, really. Everything was talked about in the passive sense, I don't know. It felt like nothing happened. And maybe it's because I've seen the movies, and so I know the curse. I know the curse well. I've seen it a bunch of times, so maybe that's what it is. That's why I didn't enjoy the book as much. There were some things, some concepts in there that also irritated me as an AFAB. In the Ring movies, the protagonist is a woman, and in the books, it is a man. And some of the ways that it was handled wasn't great. So I can see why we would have changed the protagonist to a woman. So yeah, I struggled with that a bit. But let's talk about my top books for the month, because I actually read some really, really good ones and I want to talk about them. First up, we have I think both of these are Landis recommend. 2 out of 3 of these are Landis recommendations. Unsure. Anyway, first we have The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. My handwriting squished that down, so correct me if I'm wrong. This is so fun, was so much fun. I really, really enjoy fantasy books that are post the hero saves the day or whatever, like what's happening to the heroes now, like they're retired, they're having to come out of retirement. I really enjoy those stories. I think they're a lot of fun. And this was this wasn't any different. Like this was that concept and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, overall, just very fun. A very fun book. I liked the characters. I liked the character relationships. I liked that the relationships felt mature and they felt like lifelong friends that just hadn't talked to each other in a while for their very clear reasons. The dynamic with the demon ex-husband or husband thing was at times very, very funny and at times just very, very real. Like I really enjoyed that representation. I thought that that was really fun and I can't wait to read the other books in the series. I think that it is genuinely a very fun book. Which I wasn't totally sure I would like it because I don't love like pirate adventures. Like those don't really appeal to me. However, because this was a hero returning like she wasn't a hero, an anti-hero basically, returning out of a retirement to do things, and then dealing with basically her own trauma and all of that. I appreciated that. I felt like that was a lot of fun. So yeah. Then we have Head Like a Hole by Andrew Van Wey. This is a horror book that kind of took me by surprise. A lot of the time when I read horror written by men, I have very, very low expectations. And I know that's terrible, but they just so rarely represent anything that, like, they use sexual concepts in such a way that's upsetting to me and frustrating to me to read. This was not that case, which I really appreciated. Body horror, but like not body horror, because you don't really know what's happening until later in the game. You just know some fucked up shit is definitely happening. The reveal of like what was going on this whole time was terrifying. The epilogue had me fucking stressed out. The epilogue, like usually by the time I get to the epilogue, I'm like, all right, that was kind of spooky, but okay, no. And then like they have an epilogue and you're like, oh, the story continues. Okay, go ahead and get your sequel money, I guess. This was not that. This was like, oh, you thought that happened? Just kidding. This is what actually happened and it's fucking scarier than what you thought happened. I really enjoyed that. Basically these friends like go and have this like memory gap of this girl that they think they did something terrible to once their memories start coming back, and then horrors ensue. I really cannot get more into detail about the plot on that because it will ruin the book, but I expected just like silly little paranormal shit, and that is not what I got. I got some scary Chernobyl level shit. It was really good though. I really enjoyed it. And then we have The Outside by Ada Hoffman. I am not gonna lie, and this one was for sure a Landis rec. I am not gonna lie, I didn't have the highest of expectations, but that's because I don't read a lot of sci-fi anymore. And so I'm particularly picky about it. I find some of it to be boring. They give me too much information that means nothing to me, and I need my books to be a little bit dumber than sci-fi books can be sometimes. This one, though, was really well done. We have our autistic lesbian main character, and she has to go help the gods like, figure out this, kind of like a virus, and almost like everything that she knows is incorrect. I'm doing a really terrible job of explaining the plot of this. It's good though, you should read it. It is a part of a series though, I believe, so I am gonna have to like look at the other books and see if I want to continue reading them, but I will say, just the book on its own, I was pleased with. Like, I think that I could just read this first one and be okay. But it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the main character. I enjoyed seeing her interact with others. I enjoyed that balance of things. I also enjoyed how like openly they talked about her being autistic and like how that was represented. Obviously I'm not autistic, so I can't speak to it being represented well, but I imagine that because Landis recommended it to me, it is pretty decent autism representation, so take that with a grain of salt from me though, because I, can't speak to it directly, but I felt like it was well done. And yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun reading it. I think that that it's a good little sci-fi book. It's not little, it is long. She's long, but I do recommend it if you like adult sci-fi books, and if you're looking for something with a lesbian main character or a main character that is autistic. There you go. It's got both of them. And that is it. I did, again, read everything on my my CLEARURSHT TBR, which was exciting. I wasn't totally sure with the whole week and a half off, but I did manage to get it all done. And then I also managed to read 3 more books outside of that. So that was cool. And they were all books that were on my master TBR. Oh, and 2 extra books because they're books that I had just purchased and had. So like Imaginary Friend, which I will also say, if I was going to like include all my 5-star reads, I would include Imaginary Friend as a top book. That book is fucking crazy. I highly recommend it. Don't even ask me what it's about because demons and children sleepwalking and scary shit, and it's 800 pages long and you'll be 200 pages in and you're like, why am I so stressed out already? We have so many more pages. It is a horrifying book. I fucking love it. I hadn't read it since I first read it in 2020. And I read that shit in one day. My husband was working at a donut shop and I would hang out. So I get free donuts, so I would hang out and I just sat and read that book nonstop. And I had it as a library book, so like I hadn't thought about it since. And then Ozzy got it for me when we went to the Happy Haunt bookstore, the love of my life. We went and she got it for me there, and I finally finished rereading it, and it was really, really good. Like really, really, really good. I enjoyed it so much. So I recommend that. Obviously, I would say that as a top book, but I don't really love putting rereads as my top books. I know I've done it before, but I feel like that's not fair because obviously I know I enjoyed it because I'm reading it again. Watch me next month when I do my Shauna Maguire rereads. Just use all of those as my top books. Anyway, that's it though. That's the video. Short and sweet because it wasn't a very big reading month, but I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you didn't, tell me how I can make it better for you, unless it is my opinions, and then I will not be changing them. Thank you very much. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first full week of the month, so I will see you guys on Thursday. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.